Hello there, whiskey tubers and other people. It's me, the Whiskey Novice, again, and I'm doing a video. This isn't a review video. This is a challenge video. It's a challenge video. And it's a challenge of a sort of different kind. I know Rob Whisky and the Six likes to throw his challenges out there. Very, very good. They are as well. And I thought I had an idea for a challenge, something a little different. And I call this challenge potato, the potato challenge. As in, you say potato, I say potato. But in this case, we're talking Peat. And I threw the challenge out to all you whiskey tubers, anybody that just wants to comment. Throw a comment on the bottom and let me know your thoughts on it. But if you fancy making a video, if you're a vlogger or whatever and you fancy making a video, please do so and share it around and try and get this out there for the laugh. And here is what the challenge is. We've talked enough. I'm not actually drinking any whiskey in this video because I was at a launch last night and as an open, honest person that I am, I drank more than I should, and I even opened these bottles to smell them, and it sort of took me a bit. So there's been no drinking today, and I'm working this evening, etc. What else was I going to say? Oh yes, the other thing is throwing out a bit of love to the Scotch Test Dummies. I put on their lid saying as we're talking Peat and how they like their peat. So here we go. Here's the challenge. I thought about this and I thought, if you asked me to name 3 peated whiskies, I would say Ardbeg, Laphroaig and Lagavulin, because they just roll off the tongue. They're the 3 basically that I would suggest that are that you just say, name 3 peated whiskies, Ardbeg, Laphroaig and Lagavulin would be the 3. And I would imagine that I'm not alone in thinking that, right? That, as I say, if you ask the question, 3 peated whiskies, Ardbeg, Laphroaig. Ardbeg, here we have it. Laphroaig, I went with the quarter cask because I particularly like it. And Lagavulin 16, the classic. But herein lies the challenge. These are 3 peated whiskies. But you whiskey drinkers and I know that there are alternatives, and some very good alternatives. And the challenge is for you to name your 3 alternatives to Ardbeg, Laphroaig and Lagavulin. And I'm going to tell you what mine are. So, potato, you say Ardbeg, I say Kilchoman Macair Bay. Because this has just got that same, to me, earthy, bonfire, real heavy, rich peat about it, with great citrus going on in the background, as with the Ardbeg 10. So this is a great alternative for me. Pardon me, sorry, should have said one stipulation in here. Please try and keep them below £100, because I want to take like the Octomores off the table, because they're so heavily peated that they're not really in the same range as this. I think you'll agree. So if you can keep them under £100, that takes the Octomore out of the equation. So as I say, you say Ardbeg, I say Kilchoman Macair Bay. Beautiful whiskey. You say Laphroaig, I say Laphroaig. Laphroaig, let's face it, it's pronounced Laphroaig. You say Laphroaig, I say Laphroaig, because, yet again, Laphroaig, when you hold Laphroaig up there, and funny, I found now, since I've been back to Laphroaig, it wasn't the peat monster that I remembered it being. because it's just that bit lighter and crisper, and the more my palate has evolved and the more peated whiskies I've tried, Laphroaig, still beautiful, still great whiskey, still love that quarter cask, but it just has started to pale a bit. It's just not the big peat monster I thought it was. This I found is this is a sleeper. It's a peat sleeper, in that I've worked my way down this ball. The neck pours weren't overly peated. They were, peated, but just I didn't find it. But the more of them down it, and when you let this sit in the glass, this just catches fire. This is just, this is a little peat monster when it sits in the glass, I've found. And so, as I say, you say Laphroaig, I say Laphroaig. Definitely give this a go. And the other thing with most of these is that they're all roughly around the same price range. So they're not really, they're not pushing out the barrel too far. And finally, you say Lagavulin, 16 in this case. And I say long row peated. I love this. It's just a quality whiskey. And yet again, like the Lagavulin, I find is quite an earthy peat. It's not the same sweetness as the Ardbeg and stuff like that. It's much more earthy feeling with it, as to me has the long row peated. It's obviously from Springbank distillers, and as I've said before, they just to me know how to make whiskey, and this is a very good one. So that's the challenge. As I say, please, if you can, if you feel up to it, make your own video or whatever, or as I say, just drop a comment and let me know what you think, because there are some great alternatives out there. Those are 3 great peated whiskies, which I was, I'm not discarding by any means, 3 great peated whiskies, but I just like the thought that here's 3 other really nice peated whiskies, and I'll review these whiskies individually. I've only actually reviewed the Ardbeg 10 so far, so at some point I'll review the rest of them. And there you have it. I'm going to go and try and sober up before, well, not sober up, but recover properly. Certainly sobered up, but just feeling the wares a little bit. And as I say, if you get the chance, please do that. Give me a tag or something. Let me know you've done it. So I'm just interested. That's the only reason I'm doing this. Thanks again. Cheers, folks.